Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the celebrity panel for Tyler Heckner. Did I say it right? Hoechlin.
Takes 3.5 days.
I'm a little nervous. Sitting here next to Superman, you know? Well, that went on. That started great. Well, welcome to. Have you ever been to Utah before?
I've been to Park City, I've been to Zion, but I've never actually stayed in Salt Lake. And unfortunately, I didn't see too much of it this time, but definitely enough to make it another trip.
How's your FanX experience, man?
It's been great, man. It's been great. You're always very nice. Thank you guys for being such welcoming group of people. Appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. It's been good. So hopefully come back and do it again.
So I've been researching you for the past couple of days. Obviously didn't do good with the name. Actually, it was so funny, I was so nervous about it. You know there's a whole YouTube video about how to say your name?
Really?
Yeah.
Who did it?
It's I typed in, pronunciation, and there's a whole video.
Oh, wow.
You should check it out. It's like all your,
I didn't know it was that bad.
it's like all your friends from like Teen Wolf and stuff like that.
I knew it was a pain. I didn't know it was that bad. Man, they're gonna start a whole course at school about this.
So you've had quite a career. Like,
It's been a minute.
yeah. So, I don't know if you guys know this, so you probably did it. Like, your first major role was in The Road to Perdition
Yes.
as Tom Hanks' son.
Yes.
That's not a too bad start.
No.
How's that?
I actually didn't even want to go on that audition because I was so. At 13, I was already jaded and bitter about being an actor.
Because you've been doing it for a really long time.
I started when I was like 8 years old, and I think before that audition, I had gone in for Analyze This, which was a Billy Crystal and Robert De Niro movie, and obviously didn't get that job, and didn't know, I hadn't had enough experience at that time to know that you hear no so often, and that you don't get a lot of jobs. So I was I was getting frustrated and competitive, and so when they called and said it's an audition for this Tom Hanks, Paul Newman, Jude Law, Sam Mendes is directing, I just went, I'm not gonna go, that's stupid, I'm not gonna get that job. So yeah, I almost didn't go, but then my little brother went, and so I wasn't gonna let my little brother audition and not audition, so I ended up going, and yeah, that was the beginning of that one.
Is Tom Hanks as nice as he seems?
Nicest human being in the world.
Yeah.
Nicest human, yeah, absolutely.
So, not only was you won a ton of awards for that.
I got a couple.
Yeah. I'm counting, let's see, there's the Saturn Award for Best Performance by a Younger Actor.
Yes.
And the Young Artist Award, and I was just reading like a ton of it, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good
recognition for
Yeah,
that.
you got good reviews.
It did all right.
Your career was on the way. You're going to be an awesome young actor. And you said, nope, I want to play baseball.
Yep. That was the smart decision. Yeah.
Well, could you talk about that? I mean, you love baseball, obviously.
Yeah, I started acting when I was younger. I started playing baseball when I was even younger. And it was just kind of always my first passion. And it's one of those things where, working with someone like Newman, who was a legend, and seeing him still doing it in his 70s, it was kind of always that recognition of, okay, well, acting I can do when I'm older, baseball only lasts for so long, and once you stop, you're kind of done. Whereas acting, I knew I could hopefully step away and come back to it at some point. So, yeah, that was one of those things I had to pursue that passion while I was there, and I'm glad that I did. I turned down a few things along the way, and I don't regret any of those decisions. I got to play at least long enough that now I can look back and be grateful that I had my fill of it. I still felt like I was leaving the game a bit early when it actually happened, but in hindsight now, I'm glad that I've had that transitional phase in my 20s as opposed to later on.
Yeah, it was in college when you stopped playing, right?
Yeah, I stopped playing for my third year.
All right. Yeah, I was just like, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it was a good. I loved it. I still love the game. I still love watching the game. So it was like I said, it's always been a big passion of mine. So at some point, I'd love to get back into coaching or something like that. So,
And I haven't seen this movie, but I'm going to check it out. I love Richard Linklater.
Yes.
And what was that movie called?
Everybody Wants Some.
Everybody Wants Some.
Yeah.
It's a baseball movie.
It's not.
No? It's a Richard Linklater movie, right?
The research is right. It's about a bunch of guys on the baseball team in college, but it's really more of what that experience is the first time as a young man leaving home, going off and meeting this whole new ridiculous cast of characters. And I identified with it, I loved it, and it's one of the reasons I did like it, because I was like, I know this world very well, and just the idea of, leaving home and going and meeting a bunch of different people from all different walks of life, and even though you have a lot of similarities, you're kind of forced into this this dysfunctional family, essentially, for a common goal, which is to win games. And so it's just, it was a really kind of cool experience, and for us, our main theme of the movie was the more things change, the more they stay the same. And so, we kind of wanted to show that timeless element of what it is to just, be a young guy going off and getting advice from people you shouldn't take advice from, basically.
And did you guys all live together?
We did for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, playing baseball, right?
We played baseball every day, we went to dance class every day, we watched movies every day. Our homework was playing pool, like shooting pool or playing foosball. A lot of us had girlfriends or wives at the time, and so, we a lot of text messages and phone calls saying, babe, I'm sorry, I have to go to work, I have to go bowl, I have to go bowling now, I'm sorry. So those are our assignments.
So I read something really interesting. So when you were like, I'm doing baseball,
yeah.
Right? You passed up some pretty significant meetings and roles, didn't you?
I did, a couple along the way, yeah. My agent wasn't the biggest fan of mine at times, yeah.
Your agent calls and goes, hey, Francis Ford Coppola wants to meet with you. And you're like,
yes.
Nah.
That was the one that I was like, even I hate myself a little bit right now. I know, I understand, I get it. Yeah, I was playing in a collegiate summer league in Battle Creek, Michigan was my hometown team for that, and I think we were somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin or something, and I think the nearest airport was hours away, and obviously, it's very low budget, so we had one team bus, and that was it, so no one got to go where they needed to go, it was just only the team traveled, and so he goes, hey, I've got a meeting with Coppola, in 2 days, and I was like, that sucks, I can't come, I don't know what you want me to say, but the nearest airport is like a 4 or 5 hour drive away, and I've got games tomorrow, I can't make it, so.
What movie was it for you, though?
It wasn't just a general meeting.
Just
he
like
put together something, and so he was just meeting with some young actors, and I was one of the people that had been asked to come in, and I was like, yeah, sorry man, I can't come. Don't know what to do.
Your agent's kicking his garbage can across the
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those, it was almost like in such shock that the response was honestly just dead air, and then, really? And then nothing. I was yeah, really, I know, I understand, it sounds ridiculous. I was like, well, I can't go.
You are aware who that is, right?
Yeah. He's like, oh, okay, all right. And I'm pretty sure he contemplated firing me at that moment, but he was nice enough to let me stay.
You also passed up the role of Emmett Cullen in the Twilight series.
Yes.
Okay, now, I was wondering what the reactions is.
Yeah, that was about 2 weeks before our baseball season was starting when it was my first year at Irvine. And, we were ranked in the top 10 preseason that year. We were supposed to go back to the College World Series, and, I'd been named the starter going into that time, and so it was just too many other guys that had been putting in too much hard work that whole fall and winter leading up to the season to bail for 6 weeks. So couldn't do that.
You were like, I'm gonna go put on sparkles on my face.
Yeah, of course, and then the movie comes out, and my teammates were like, hey, we're gonna see this movie, and I was like, okay, fine, I guess I'll go. So I went, and then it made $1 billion, and my friends were like, you're an idiot, man, you should have gone to the movie.
I was gonna say, they're all sighing.
Yeah, and they're like, dude, why'd you stay here? I was like, for you guys, I guess I should have, I don't know.
You could have bought a house a little bit earlier, people.
Ungrateful team, that's what it was.
So eventually you pull a hamstring, right?
I did, yeah.
And your coach is like,
no, I started taking some meetings that I usually would have said no to. So a few things where, I think I missed 1 or 2 practices, and my coach kind of pulled me aside and said, hey, look, I'm not angry, I get it, I understand. He goes, I think we should have a conversation about what you want to do. And so we eventually did have a couple conversations, and got to the point where he had been coaching for decades at a very high level in college ball, and kind of gave me the advice that, if you stay and finish, you'll probably get drafted, but beyond that, 1% of people who actually get drafted into Major League Baseball ever actually make a living at it. He goes, I think you've got a unique opportunity in LA that a lot of people don't always get, so I would, in my experience, encourage you to go take that opportunity. So that was kind of it. I always said I'd play until someone told me to stop, and at that moment, I kind of felt like that was the sign that I had been waiting for eventually in my life, whenever it came. And so yeah, that was the turning point. That was it.
So after that, you were like on Seventh Heaven, wasn't that filmed here?
No, Seventh Heaven that's when I was in high school. So I was actually going to public school, doing independent study on set, and shooting that show while I was playing ball at my high school. That was like those were my busy years. That's why people say like, oh, you seem really busy right now. I'm like, no, not really. I was busy in high school, I was busy my freshman year of college, and then ever since then it's been like, yeah, running around, but nothing crazy.
The guy goes right back into acting, wins another award. Right? Teen Choice Award.
Yeah.
Just like sitting around the house.
I finally did get a award. They don't give you one if it's not like presented on stage. Apparently, I didn't know this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the first one I got, they actually didn't give me one. I was like, oh, okay. Then you can buy it. I was like, no, it's okay.
For breakout male star, you don't get a free award.
Yeah, you know, that's what it is. Well, I got one. It's okay. I got a teen one. I got a Choice Summer Show for Teen Wolf. That's I got it at home. So that's cool.
And that was your next big big thing, right?
Teen Wolf was the next one. That was the first big thing I did out of baseball. Yeah.
And you didn't wear a shirt on that show a lot, did you?
Not very often. I think after the first season, they're like, all right, we did it enough to you. It was like sporadic after that, but yeah.
You were like a fan favorite though, right?
I guess. I can't be self-proclaimed. I can't claim that.
Well, do you want to talk about your experience on Teen Wolf at all? Or so, were you surprised, like, when the first time I watched it, because I'm older, like, I've seen Teen Wolf 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That was a very different show from the movie.
Yeah, very different. Oh, completely. I mean, that was the whole thing. It was funny. Our first Comic-Con that we went to in San Diego, there was nothing but very, very upset reporters our panel asking us why they were ruining their childhood. And yeah, so we had to make it very clear that we were not trying to remake Teen Wolf, that we were reimagining Teen Wolf and using the title because it's people in the 2000s, and this business requires making money, and so MGM owned that title, and so they decided to use that title. We actually had one of the guys come up. He's like, why call it Teen Wolf? Like, why not just call it like Teenage Werewolves? And I forget who answered the question. Somebody answered the question in a very polite way, but afterwards backstage, like, because that title sucks. I'm gonna watch a show called Teenage Werewolves. So we had to prove ourselves a little bit in that first season, but it was great. It was fun because it was being an athlete, chip on the shoulder is always kind of a fun thing to kind of work with. So that first season was a lot of fun, and then going back to Comic-Con after the first season, the reception was incredibly different. And then going back to the second season, it was really different. So it was fun. It was fun to see the progress of the show as far as the fan following, the passion for it. That was really kind of cool because we didn't start with a fan base that was loving it right away. We had to kind of earn it. So
I'll never forget watching the first episode. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Where's Styles?
Yeah. A little bit of comic relief, but not so much a comedy.
And you won a bunch of awards for that too, right?
Maybe.
I'm more aware of his awards.
Yeah, you're probably right. Some of them, because they don't always present them to us. Sometimes
So they just like show up online?
It's like when my mom calls me, she's like, hey, you're at the top of this one poll. I was like, cool, I don't know if that's official. I think someone just did that on their Twitter. But
like when
thanks, Mom, I love you.
Like when some website called you the third sexiest man on TV in like 2011 or something like that.
That's nice. That's nice. I try not to do Google alerts for my own name. I try to stay away from that.
I Google myself constantly. Well, let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Superman.
Yeah.
Right? So, obviously you guys all watch Supergirl, right? And I love it. I'm like a huge Superman fan. Like, crazy Superman fan. And it always drove me crazy in the first couple of seasons. Right, where she was just like texting him or IMing him, even though like something was going terribly wrong in her city, right? It's like, Clark couldn't fly over and help you out? And he'd be like, he'd text her, good job. I was like, yeah, and when they announced that Superman was coming home, I was so excited. And I said, they wanted you, like, the whole time, right?
That's what I eventually heard, yeah.
Well, like, it's Superman. Like, what, like, how, could you talk to us about how it felt like they want me to be Superman?
Very, very surreal. You're funny enough. I've really never contemplated the idea of playing the character. It just wasn't something. I think maybe it's because at one point there was some rumor out there that I was going to play Batman or something, and so I was like, oh, that'd be kind of fun. That'd be cool. And then so it just never really crossed my mind. And then I had a meeting with Greg Berlanti, and that wasn't even. The meeting wasn't even set up as, come in, we want to talk to you about Superman. It's just like, come in, we'd like to talk to you in general. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So came in, had a meeting, and about halfway through the meeting, they brought up that they were going to be introducing Superman on Supergirl, and they asked if that'd be something I'd be interested in talking about. I said, yeah, sure. Sounds cool. Let's talk about it. So we did. We just kind of talked about the character. I had auditioned for Man of Steel, along with a bunch of other guys back in the day, and I kind of just remember telling them, the things I took away from that process of auditioning for the character and things that I had kind of in my research found that I really enjoyed exploring about him and, whether they were struggles or triumphs or whatever. And we just kind of hit it off. I think we all had a very similar view of what we really enjoy about the character, specifically of what the character would look like in the Supergirl world. So yeah, that was kind of the thing. It was kind of out of nowhere, so I didn't really have time to overthink it, which is something that I tend to do a lot. So that was good. It was good that it kind of caught me off guard. And that was really it. We just had the one meeting, and then they came to us a few weeks later with an offer, and that was that.
Who loves his version of Superman? When I watch it, I feel like you're kind of inspired by my Superman, Christopher Reeves.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's like that more hopeful and kind of, bright shining light.
Yeah, well, we felt like, that's, for me, when I went and watched, I went and caught up on all the Supergirl episodes, and especially at that time, it was a few years ago, and, it was just like dark, it just seemed like dark news all the time. And so I loved that the show was kind of this shamelessly optimistic and hopeful kind of beacon of light. And I was like, you know what, that's nice. That's like the world needs more of that, I think, more often. And so I really felt like with the tone of the show already and kind of how we had talked about the character being introduced, it just felt like something I would really enjoy doing. And so that was kind of always the hope of it. I just wanted to be kind of that, the Superman who's already been Superman for a while and realizes what he stands for and what people look to him for, and try to be the ultimate version of that. So it was nice. It was nice to do that after playing a character for a couple of years who was very angry and angsty and full of revenge until he finally became this very zen person last year. But yeah, so it was really nice. And I think one thing that I'm really glad I made the decision to do was to not go back and watch any of the previous versions, just because for me, again, I tend to overthink things, and so had I seen anything, I didn't want to be either tempted to emulate something or actively trying not to do something. I wanted anything that was familiar to be an accident, and anything that wasn't familiar to be an accident, that kind of thing. So I try to keep myself as clear from any of that stuff as possible.
So I have a question for you. So we all know the internet can be kind of crappy, right?
Yeah.
People can be mean on the internet, right?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So I kind of want to ask somebody who's experienced that, because I remember when it was announced, and the first time they ever showed a picture of you on the costume, basically on the internet.
Yeah.
Some people just lost their minds, and they were so mean, and I didn't get it. I was like, dude, it looks like Superman. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm fine with this,
Yeah.
Did that affect you in any way, or because it was, they can be super mean.
I don't think I had any supporters before the episode aired. Maybe a couple, maybe some of you were very nice.
No, I was there.
I see a couple hands. Thank you very much. No, I mean, I think I was prepared for that. I think with any of those things that I've seen enough of it now in any role that, someone gets cast in something like this. It's not usually like the most supportive people that are the loudest about it. It's usually the ones that are most negative about it. I try not to pay attention to that stuff, man. I try to stay off Twitter as much as I can. And any of that stuff, I just, at this point, I just made a very conscious decision, probably before this happened, but definitely once I knew this was happening, to really just not listen to any of it. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna choose really not to care. I just don't care. So I just tune it out, I don't even read it, I don't buy into it. And that goes for the positive stuff as well, and not that the support isn't appreciated, but it's one of those things where if you're allowing yourself to be either too high or too low because of what other people are saying or thinking, you kind of set yourself up for failure either way. So I just try to, stay true to what I'm trying to do, put in my best work, and at the end of the day, if people like it, great. If I hate it, great. Either way, not going to affect my life.
You still go to bed, right?
Same way the next day, but yeah.
I just always wondered, you know what I mean? Because I just I love this geek podcast where we're always talking about geek news and just how people just savage.
It's crazy, man.
Especially if you're playing an icon. I mean, everybody knows Superman, right?
It seems to be a popular character. Yeah.
Was it intimidating at all to take on that role?
I always say this, and not in any way to try to sound like I'm above being intimidated by that, but really just because, oddly enough, for whatever reason, the place I was in my life at the time, professionally, personally, everything, Greg made me feel very comfortable with the character. He made me feel very confident in the fact that they chose me for a reason to play the character. And again, for me, with any character like this, I've never tried to look at it as playing Superman. Just because to him, he's Clark, he's Kal-El. So it's the way I try to see any character, which is that usually, unless you have a character who's very arrogant and very, very high on himself, everybody has insecurities, everybody looks at themselves as, maybe less than other people on the outside see them. So I tried to find the guy. I tried to find Clark, I tried to find Kal-El and figure out who is this guy. And the Superman of it all, really for me, playing him, it's something that he does because he can. It's not necessarily something that he thinks he is to himself. I don't think he ever sees himself as Superman. In the same way that I don't. I never see it. So people say, you play Superman. I'm like, yeah, I guess I do. But I play a guy who can fly, who can do all these things and save people. And so because he can, he does. And that's me. I've always said that's what sums up Superman. And it's not that he can save the world. It's that whatever he can do that's good, he does. And that's kind of how I like to look at it.
You see. Take that, trolls. Okay, I'm going to ask you 2 more questions. I want you guys to start getting some questions in your head and start lining up over here by this microphone. Okay. All right, so basically my last-ish 2 questions.
Yeah.
1, how did you, it's a 2-parter.
Okay.
How did you feel when you first saw yourself in the suit, in the mirror? And 2, when you got to watch a finished episode, and got to see yourself flying around and throwing giant things? Did that blow your mind back?
So the first time putting on the suit, I will say once I actually had the suit on and looked in the mirror, I was like, oh, come on, this is ridiculous. Oh my God, it was just insane. I mean, it was like a too cool moment. It was very surreal. Mainly because it was, putting it on and then realizing that not only do I get to wear it, but I'm going to wear it, and then they're going to shoot it, and then people are going to see it. That whole thing just kind of like kicked in. It was like, oh wow, this is insane. It's insane that I'm actually here and this is actually happening. So that was the reaction the first time I put it on. And then, sorry, the second part was
when you got to see yourself in action, flying.
Yes. It helps a lot to see an episode finished because I will say there are many times that you are put in a position to feel very stupid when you're shooting the show.
You just feel like a dope.
Yeah, I mean when I kind of say that line of we'll be back, and then you are supposed to fly away, but really you just jump 6 inches off the ground. And then they say everybody pause, and then you have to run off camera. So you're like, okay, so
that's not really how it works.
Yeah, so got to pause and not move. Then I have to run away and go hide off camera, and then they continue the scene.
So like Martian Manhunter's like this?
So yeah, everybody just stops. Everybody just stops. So like I'll jump and then Melissa's still staring at the guy like this. Until I leave and they're like, okay, and action again. And then she goes back into it. So when you see it cut together and then you say your line and you actually fly away, like, oh, okay. It looks better. It looks better when it's all cut together.
Yeah, this changes everything for me.
Everything. Way cooler. Way cooler.
All right, we got some questions. Go ahead, X-Man.
So I have a question about Undrafted.
Yes, sir.
What was your favorite part to film for the movie?
My favorite part to film for that movie, I feel like all the stuff in the dugout. You know, I miss playing baseball, but I feel like the thing I miss the most about playing ball is just in the dugout, just the conversations you have, the random conversations and stupid things you talk about. So that was always a lot of fun because we had the whole group just crammed into this small space. So whether we were doing the scene or in between takes, there was always just a lot of jokes going back and forth. So it was a lot of fun. That was my favorite part. Thanks, buddy.
And Undrafted is like a teen comedy?
It's a dramedy. It's about a bunch of guys. The main character was supposed to be drafted into professional baseball and got overlooked and wasn't. So he comes to like their Sunday league game, and it's a bunch of guys who just never made it, but they've got a lot of heart and they're kind of going up against they're the underdogs going up against the best team in this Sunday league, and they just kind of fight and claw their way through the game. So as baseball is, that's why I love baseball. It's a great metaphor for life, and so just a lot of great moments in there.
So I didn't really see Teen Wolf.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're not the only one. It's all good. There's many people in your shoes.
And it kind of was a little standoffish when you first were on Supergirl. But you actually won me over when you did the Smallville part with Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Dude, I was just like blown away by that, and I was like, wanted to ask a kind of weird question.
Yeah.
Any talk about a Superman or maybe a new Lois and Clark?
Oh man, I know they've had rumors like since I did that very first episode of some spin-off or something, so I don't know, I hear all the same stuff you guys hear. If it ever happens, who knows, but I have a great time every time I get to go up there, so fingers crossed I'll get to go back and at least do some more stuff as the character, but that's always a conversation for a lot of other people at Warner Brothers and DC and all that, so
Yeah, I just think you would be awesome in that.
Oh, well, thank you, man.
You guys did, a really good job at Lois and Clark.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Vince's great, so hopefully we'll get to do some more stuff together. We had a lot of fun.
I would love to see that series too, especially I don't know if you're current on the new storyline in the comics.
Okay.
They got a kid and Chris.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'd be like, God, that'd be great.
That'd be fun. I'll check it out. You never know. Super dad.
Okay, so you've probably been asked this a couple times before. Any word on future Teen Wolf projects? They did promise some webisodes.
Did they now? Who made that promise?
One of the creators or actors online.
Okay. I don't know anything about it. But there's so many storylines in that show that you can probably follow afterwards. Prequels, I don't know, but nothing that I'm aware of. But would you guys want more Teen Wolf stuff?
We didn't really get to see a lot of your and Styles' adventures. That was just kind of mentioned.
There weren't any. I guess that's the short answer. There weren't any, which is why we didn't see them. But no, I was really glad going back for the finale. Sorry, spoiler, if you haven't finished the series yet. I was glad I got to go back and at least have one last really fun Derek Styles moment. So, but yeah, it was. Who knows? We'll see if they. I'm sure they'll think of something.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe they could do 30-something Wolf.
Yeah. Midlife crisis.
So I've had the pleasure of meeting you twice, and you're a very sweet, humble, down-to-earth human being. Just adore you.
I fooled you thoroughly.
Right, you're a wonderful actor, obviously. No, I just want to know what is the number one thing that keeps you so grounded?
two things. My family, for sure. Family and friends, I would say, absolutely, probably number one. And then the other one is, honestly, the thing I'm most grateful for looking back at the whole experience with Road to Perdition was just having great examples. I got to see Tom Hanks and Paul Newman show up to work every day just as if they were, number 5 or 6 or 7 on the call sheet, not 1 and 2. So they're just great human beings. So when I do see people in the business, kind of get a lot of quick success and kind of start to behave in a certain way, I try not to hold that against them. I'm just always looking and say, I'm really grateful I had the examples that I did as a kid. Because at 13, I got to see basically 2 of the biggest legends of all time in this business, still acting as if they were just grateful to be there. So I would say, I'd say those guys as examples, and then family and friends. Makes it easy. Thank you.
How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, you're right. I just had a quick question, like in regards to team. Like, what was it like getting the prosthetics and the makeup to, embody be that wolf character?
It's a long process. About 2.5. When we got it down to like a good time, it was about 2.5 hours to get it on. So it was, a lot of time with those guys in the makeup chair. We had some fun playlists we put together. Got to listen to some good music. So we got to know each other pretty well. But it was fun. It's a fun process. Like, the coolest thing about the prosthetics and everything is anytime that you're playing a character where when you look in the mirror you physically don't see yourself anymore, it's a very freeing experience because you're also aware that the camera doesn't see you anymore, it's seeing something else. And so it's very liberating in the sense that you kind of get to try things that otherwise may make you feel a little bit weird. Very much so like when we're doing Supergirl and you do something that feels weird, it feels a little extra weird because I don't have a mask on, I don't have anything to hide behind. It's just me and Melissa doing a staring contest, which is, deep vision at each other, but it's us just doing this for an extended period of time while we circle each other on a spaceship. So it's like, it's very odd when you know that everyone's just seeing you, but when you have kind of like the mask to hide underneath, it's really fun because you really get to kind of go for it and you lose a little bit of that self-consciousness. So it's really fun. The prosthetics are, as much as 14 hours into the day, the sweat is piling up, you're kind of ready for it to be done, it is fun to play with. Thanks, man.
That's one of the things I was going to say. Like, people were so mad that Ron Perlman was a Hellboy guy. I'm like, dude, the guy's 70 years old. He doesn't want to break that chair. He doesn't want to wear that stuff for 14 hours.
I mean, he was great. He was great. Well, I think Harvard's going to be great, too. I'm so excited. I'm really excited to see that. But yeah, he had his time. He gave us some good movies. Let him rest.
I don't put him for the chair anymore, right?
Yeah.
Hi. So your character on Team Wolf, Derek and Styles, have a very interesting relationship.
Okay.
Say, what was your favorite scene to film with Dylan O'Brien?
My favorite scene to film with Dylan. Oh God. So many of them. I mean, the one that we had a ton of fun with it, but also hated it at the same time was in the pool. Felt so bad. I had to carry me through that water so many times. So that was really fun. That was a whole day. Like, we were honestly in the water for like 14 hours that day. I mean, anytime we had a scene where they just kind of had their thing. Everybody seen Ice Age? Yeah. So I always just thought they were Diego and Sid to me. That's how I always saw them, and I loved thinking of it that way. So, I mean, the scene where they're trying to figure out how to break Boyd and Erica out of the vault, and, Styles is saying, oh, you're gonna punch through the concrete, you're gonna punch through that, and he just hits his hand. Any of those moments where he's just, I don't have time for you. I don't have time for you. Those are always my favorite ones. We had a lot of fun with those.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm sure every actor has a favorite kind of scene and a least favorite kind of scene to portray, so I was wondering what your favorite kind of scene is and what your least favorite kind of scene is.
Favorite kind of scene. I don't know if I have a favorite kind of scene. I think there's different things you enjoy about different scenes. I think most actors will always say Exposition is the ones that's always the least of them that's fun. Only because you're just relaying information. You're just kind of trying to, make it clear that the story is moving forward and how it's moving forward. So those are ones where you're aware that what you're doing is just telling the story a little bit so that everybody's kind of caught up in where it's going. That's probably the one that everybody typically goes like, it's an exhibition day. Yay.
I'm fairly certain that intimate scenes are pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're weird. Like everybody's always like, oh my god, those are supposed to be crazy to shoot. Like, yeah, they're super awkward and strange. Nobody enjoys those scenes. So yeah, it's always a strange thing on set, but it's always part of the job. That's part of the job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's the bane of my life. So I'm gonna ask a question, and at the beginning it's gonna sound mean, but I promise it's not going in a mean place.
That's fine.
What?
I can take it.
No. What song or other piece of music do you wish you could forget so you could hear it again for the first time?
Oh wow.
That's the first time.
That's great. What song do I wish I could forget so I could hear it for the first time again?
Damn it, I broke Tyler Hoechlin.
Dang, that's a really good one. I want to have like a song. Like I have one that popped in my head, but I don't know if that's really the answer.
I'll sit down so they can ask questions. You can keep thinking of it and just let us know before the end if it pops in there.
Maybe Love Is All You Need by the Beatles.
Nice. Alright.
Yeah. Did I say love is all you need? All you need is love, right? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I was right. I had it in my head.
We knew what you were talking
I was thinking the chorus. I was like,
So I was wondering, what is Supergirl like?
what's Supergirl like? She's Supergirl. Melissa is Supergirl. That's what makes it so much fun working up there. So I actually got to do a con with her a few weeks ago, and it was so nice just to to be able to be in the same room and hear people come up and ask her questions, and to hear what she has to say. She's a very, very smart, very sweet, very kind person, and I always find myself very, very lucky to be able to play her cousin when I get to go up there. She's a sweetheart, so hopefully someday she can make it here, and you can ask her some questions because she's a good one. Thank you.
No, you just say, I love all the, female representation in, superhero stuff now.
Yeah.
Did you just see the look on her face?
Yeah.
How she's Supergirl.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's really great.
I'm not going to be able to top that, so sorry.
Okay. You're just as cute, man. Just as cute. Thank you. You're doing it. I promise you.
So I didn't know you played baseball before you really got into acting. Who's your favorite baseball team and why?
Chicago Cubs are my team. Yeah. Cubs are my National League team, the Angels are my American League team. And my brother and my buddies will kill me because they say I flip-flop. But growing up, I was a California Angels fan. Then I was a huge Giants fan because I was a big Barry Bonds fan. And then when I started playing in college, it kind of pro ball kind of became background noise a little bit. I still have anybody kind of follow the Giants. Once Bonds was gone, I kind of reverted back to my days of going to Wrigley when we were shooting in Chicago for Road to Perdition and stuff, and I kind of decided as an adult that the Cubs were going to be my team. So I follow them in the NL and Angels in the AL, but hopefully we can turn it around this year. It's one of the greatest ever.
Mr. Hinckley.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Just as a note of interest, the Salt Lake City Bees are the minor league team for the Los Angeles Angels.
Oh, they really? I didn't know my Is that double A?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
No, excuse me, they're AAA ball.
Also AAA team. Okay. Cool.
So I like to think of them as a major league team, just with the team members waiting for that phone to ring.
Exactly.
Bill Murray used to own a minor league team.
Did he really?
Yeah, they were called the Trappers.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all. I don't think you can say anything that's obscure and say, oh yeah, Bill Murray's a part of that. You're shocked. You're oh yeah, of course he is.
Okay, my question. How much more are we going to see of you as Kal-El teaming up with Melissa Benoist as Kara Zor-El on Supergirl?
Your guess is as good as mine, man. I wish I had something for you, but I genuinely don't know anything at the moment. So hopefully we'll get to go back and do some more stuff. I know they're doing the crossover again next year, so maybe that'll be a chance to do it, but I'm sitting
So
waiting.
just like my minor league baseball team, they're just waiting for the phone to ring.
Waiting for the phone to ring. There you go. There you go.
I was gonna ask, was it just crazy doing that crossover?
Oh yeah. It was so much fun. I think that's probably the most fun I just had, like just pure fun, like playing fun on a set in a long time. It was cool because there was so much action going on that you're jumping from set to set, and you're with the Flash, and you're with Green Arrow, and all these different people, and Supergirl, and it was just it was cool. Like we're all sitting around it, in between takes, and I'm looking around going like, well, you have a Flash outfit on, you're a Green Arrow, you're Supergirl, and I'm wearing this thing. So this is kind of crazy.
You guys ever just like go to a deli and freak people out?
We wanted to. We didn't quite get to do that. We didn't quite get to do it, but it would have been, maybe next time. If we get to do it again, maybe next time.
Hi. How is it like to film with the producers and other actors in like any show or stuff?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
How is it like to act or like be with the producers and with the actors around you?
On which set?
Any set.
On any set?
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Or just pick your favorite set people, I guess.
I've been really lucky. I've been really lucky. Almost every set I've ever been on has always been a really pleasant set. I've really lucked out as far as working with just good people, pretty much all around. So yeah, I really, if I'm going to sum up all of them together, that's probably about the best way to sum them up.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
They're all different flavors and delicious.
All different flavors. Yep.
Okay, my question is, you played the big bad wolf and the hero. Which one do you prefer?
Both for different reasons. One, I like standing for the good guys. The other one is much more just like kind of fun to play because there's less rules. When you're playing the good guy, there's a box that you kind of have to, play within, and then when you're the bad guy, there's just like go for it, do whatever. There's nothing you really can't do. So it's just a different kind of thing. It's just whatever mood I'm in on that day, I guess, is probably what would dictate the answer to that.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
So what's it like to work on like fight choreography? Because you've been on 2 shows that have a lot of that going on. So is that something you enjoy? Is that something you see it on the call sheet and go?
Depends. Depends on if you're doing a fight on dry land, or if for some reason it's at night outside and it's 20 degrees outside and you're in the water. I've done both, so one you're more excited about than the other. I do enjoy it. I did gymnastics growing up as a kid as well, so sports and athletics has always been kind of part of my life. So I enjoy that, and in a weird way, it's almost like mixing athletics with dance when you do fight choreography. So I do enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I try. I'm going to rephrase that. I tried to do as much as I possibly could when I was doing stunts when I was younger. Now I'm more selective. I think some people speak as they used to. So yeah, but I still really do enjoy it. It's fun, and the people that are working on those shows work really hard at it. So it's nice when they let us participate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I don't want to give away any spoilers. So if anyone hasn't seen Shazam, please come here. Okay, so. Okay, so at the end of the movie, he's introducing Superman to the school, right?
Okay.
Are you going to play as him when they make Shazam 2?
Oh man, I have no idea.
He's like, I hope so.
I have no idea. No clue. Like I said, as far as I know right now, I'm working on other things, and we'll see what comes up in the future. But that I definitely don't have. I don't have any news on.
Okay, thank you.
We'll see.
How are you today?
Good. How you doing?
We are great. We met you yesterday. We are so grateful you came to Salt Lake City. Right?
Oh, thank you.
I started following the Angels when Jim Abbott was a pitcher. Do you remember him?
I do remember Jim Abbott.
Yeah, he was my hero. So
Oh man.
But my question for you is, when you sit there and you make all these, and you have all these experiences, do you ever, when you're home by yourself, watch your own episodes, or Or do you just kind of do it and get over it?
You know what's funny? I don't really have a method to it, but for some reason there's just some things I've done that I've just never watched, and I think I should go back and see how that turned out, and then I get around to it or I don't. And some of them, you know, you for whatever reason I end up catching them. The Supergirl stuff and the crossovers I've seen, maybe because again you do things on set and you're like, oh wow. I really hope this looks different when it's finished.
I want to see how that scary contest turned out.
I really hope it looks better than it felt. So like some of those I've seen, but there's there's movies that I've done that I still haven't seen yet. And there's, like I said, there's really no method to it. It's just sometimes I feel like something in that experience, I want to go back and see what it was because maybe I felt like there was a lesson to be learned there. Other ones I feel like the work's done, my part in it is done, and so therefore I'm letting it be what it is without going back and judging it. I don't want to judge it, I don't want to see the final product, so it just varies from project to project.
Well, we won't tell on you if you start secretly watching yourself all the time.
Okay, alright, thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Hello there.
How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good to see you.
So my question to you is, you've played this beacon of hope with Superman for a couple seasons now, I think.
Yeah.
So what's it like when you get to play the opposite version of Superman?
Fun. Really fun.
And we're talking about in the crossover, right?
Yeah, like in the crossover, or anytime that he's been like manipulated to think like he's fighting Zod.
Yeah. It's always nice when you get to tap into a different side of it. It keeps it fresh, it keeps it new. Like I said, there was something really cool about playing Superman. Again, there's a lot of rules that are kind of hard to break, and you really probably shouldn't break them. And so you do play within that box. The fun part in the crossovers was like, oh, okay, so I still get to play Superman, but now I can do anything. So it was really fun to be able to kind of to play that character without any rules, without any boundaries. Was really fun, and so they were nice enough to really let me play with that, and I had a blast. I had a lot of fun. I kept calling play. All right, I hope you guys are happy with it. We're going for it. So I really enjoyed it. I was glad they let me have some fun with that.
That's awesome. Thank you. You are great at both parts, by the way.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Oh, thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering, who's your favorite actor?
My favorite actor on Teen Wolf? Oh man, that's so hard. I really can't pick one. I enjoy like different parts of working with all of them. I mean, working with Posey and Dylan was always just so much fun because they're both just the funniest, nicest people. Dylan and I would talk baseball all the time, and Posey and I would just talk nonsense. And he's like, Tyler Posey he has like this crazy, unique, and amazing personality and big personality, but he is like the kindest, most good-hearted person. I love Posey. And then working with, JR, who played Argent, he and I have had some great talks. It's funny because we all kind of grew up on that show. And so I've had different like life moments and learning lessons with each of those people. So it's hard for me to pick one, but I like them all. They're all good people. Thank you.
What's up, dude?
How's it going, man?
You play Superman. Brandon Around has played Superman.
Yes.
Buddy Cop team up crossover.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I don't think anything's out of the realm of possibilities. But I definitely won't be able to be the one to make that call. But I know someone I can talk to and at least throw in that recommendation. We'll see where it goes from there.
Okay.
You can do it.
So I was wondering, I know you do movies and TV series. What do you prefer more? Do you prefer acting for movies or for TV series? Pros, cons?
Both have both. Both have pros and both have cons. I enjoy both of them. Just different things about them. TV, it's funny. I like the pace of both for different reasons. I like that in TV you kind of just have to move, and so you're on your feet and you're going and you got to get through it. Film, I like that you get to take your time more, you get to try a few more things and play a little bit more. Film, it's it's great that you get to go in and meet a whole new group of people and have this experience, and then it's over. That's also part of the sadness of it when you get on a good set. TV is the same way. You know, it's a long time to be on a set, and it can be a lot of years, but you get to know this group of people, and it kind of becomes like a family. So there's just different elements to both of them. But at the end of the day, I feel like any day on a good set is a really good day. So
Sounds good.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
I
hard
was
to
just
beat
curious.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that worked out perfectly. That's our last question. We've got about 3.5 minutes left.
Look at that.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd like anybody to them to know about that you're working on, or that you would like them to check out?
Yeah.
No, really? Hey, good.
I'm a pretty colliding guy. I don't really. No, I'm working on a film right now called Palm Springs. It's a great dramedy with Andy Samberg, J.K. Simmons, Kristen Milioti, Kila Mendez. Great cast, a lot of fun people. I love the script, so I'm very excited. I'm not sure what the timeline is for that or anything, but we're filming that now, so that'll be really fun. That'll be really fun. And then what else is coming out? Can You Keep a Secret? That's coming. That's being done and put together right now. So I think they're in the final stages of that. And let's see. Oh, and Another Life is going to be a show on Netflix. I believe it should be getting released here sometime soon. They don't tell me these things. I don't know.
What's that about?
That one is it's a sci-fi. Again, it's Netflix. I'm not gonna get myself in trouble. I'm not gonna say anything. There's
It's a sci-fi show.
It's a sci-fi show. Check it out. It's fun. But yeah, those are the most recent things. So.
I saw you played Joe Weider. Weider? How do you say it?
Weider. Yes.
In a show called Bigger.
Yeah.
Did you have to work out a lot for that?
I did. That was my most challenging role for sure. It's in the wonderful world of independent film. I had 3 weeks to put on as much weight as possible, learn a accent that I don't think has a name, and try to figure out who this guy was. It was a real life character. He created what is known as the world of bodybuilding today. He's the kind of guy that set the tone for that. He discovered Arnold Schwarzenegger, and so he kind of built this fitness empire. So got to work with Julianne Hough, who's a fantastic actress and just a great person. So that was it was fun. It was a fun shoot, challenging shoot, but very fun.
All right. Well, thank you for coming to Salt Lake.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.